Hi, and welcome to this B News election special. I'm B News Director Rich Hosford, and I am here with Selectman Bob Hogan. And in the lead up to the 2016 Burlington town election, we have a contested race for the Board of Selectmen, 3 candidates. And we're going to sit down with each of them in turn and have a quick 15-minute sort of chat about what they hope to accomplish in the next 3 years. So thank you for coming and welcome.
Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely. And first thing, we're going to look ahead, but let's just look back. What's something, in the last term that you've had that you think is a proud accomplishment with the board?
Well, I want to point to the fact that as a department head for 18 years as the veterans agent, I started out 6 years ago on the Board of Selectmen being able to look at a budget differently than coming in from the outside. And I think working with the financial team in town and the department heads for the last 6 years, each year we've been able to decrease the increase in the real estate taxes so that we're down to 1.6% increase this year on the real estate taxes for the residents.
So they still have to go up as things get more expensive, but they're going up slower.
But at the moment, you asked about my past.
Yeah.
This is how I'm responding. In the last 6 years, 5 out of the 6 years, we've been able to create less increases to pay for the services. Now, tax increases aren't there just for the heck of it. They're to pay for the personnel and the services that we supply in town. And we have a lot of good services, and a lot of people are very happy with the services that we have. So the fact that we're still able to maintain the services, we're still able to maintain our facilities and our roadways, and then only have a 1.6% increase is something that I think we can turn to and look at and be very proud of.
Absolutely. And you do the comparisons of Burlington versus area towns or towns across the state, and the rate is actually one of the lower ones.
It is.
As far as for the residential.
And we do have, we can point to the commercial side of the business community. They pay a large portion of our taxes, so we're able to supply a lot of services because of them. But it's still important for the selectmen and the financial team and the department heads to work with the budget every year and come in as close as we can to do the right thing.
Great, and as you mentioned, you were the head of the Veterans Agency. You have since retired. So what's making you want to stick around for 3 more years on the Board of Selectmen? What's inspiring you to continue?
Well, we moved here 40 years ago, and we think it's a great town. Nancy and I have been very active in town. I was an elected member of the Board of Health for 11 years before I was appointed the Veterans Agent. I have been a member of the Rotary Club for almost 20 years now. I have just recently been appointed to the Board of Directors for People Helping People. Giving back is important. It's not just, you don't sit here for 40 years and do nothing, in my opinion, do nothing. You help give back. You help do things for people and for the town in general. So I'm just continuing that in another avenue.
Right, another way of being involved.
Yes.
So right now, what do you think is one of the bigger issues before the Board of Selectmen that you're going to have to address if elected in the next 3 years?
Well, I think we need to continue looking at the facilities. We are in desperate need of upgrading our DPW facility. Station 2 is in a state that we absolutely need to make a decision on that. Hopefully this year, not in 3 years. We're kind of stuck in a position now where we've been trying to respond to a lot of things that the folks at town meeting are looking for through resolutions, and you keep putting things off to answer questions, and the cost of building these things goes up dramatically. So we're kind of struggling with, how much can we afford to not put into it so we don't keep spending a lot of money. But on the other hand, we thought we were at pretty good bare bones 2 and 3 years ago. So we're kind of struggling with we know what we need. Can we afford it based on what it's going to cost? Because people who do public service construction projects, there are a lot more rules and it costs more to do things. So that's probably one of the bigger ones right now.
Yes, and I think I hear Chief Michael Kent from the police department saying, what about the police department?
What about the police department? Yeah, he reminds us on a regular basis.
Yeah, they've had some flooding, water issues.
But, But in a perfect world, it would be on the list and it would get done, but we have to be realistic about the money we have each year. And again, we have the taxing capacity to increase this, the amount of money we spend every year, but we don't want to do that, which is why we came in at 1.6% this year increase, which is pretty low. I mean, in years and years ago it was lower, but it's a pretty good number to, and again, to continue to supply the services that are supplied in town.
Right. One good thing though is when the decision is made, the town's bond rating is very strong. As good as it can get.
In our second year, AAA bonding, which is a big deal, you get to borrow at a lesser amount. It tells people that the town is in great financial shape. Our audits have come back each year better each year as to what we borrow and what we spend and how do we keep track of all of the records. So the financial team, has to be applauded. The Board of Selectmen being the group that's responsible for it all, for keeping an eye on it and approving which direction we go. And certainly the department heads coming in with a guideline and sticking to it and doing their best.
Now, one of the decision that'll be coming up shortly is the so-called friendly 40B housing. The town, just so people have to understand, every town in the state has to keep a sort of minimum percentage of 10% of affordable housing. Burlington's close. They think that after the next census, it'll probably dip below there, sort of opening the town up for a developer to kind of come in and give the town less.
And do what they want.
Yeah, just kind of do what they want. Build where they want, build as big as they want. There's two proposals, one in the district, one on Corporate Drive. Where are you leaning? Are you looking at the possibility of both of them, one or the other?
Well, I wouldn't think it would be necessarily in my best interest to say that either one is better than the other. If both went forward, I think they'd both be received well. But if I were someone looking to move into either one of those, I think the one at Corporate Drive up the road here would be more conducive to what I would be looking for. I mean, the one down at the district is, there's a lot of businesses, a lot of traffic, and it's not necessarily, for Burlington, where I might want to live. If I were living in one of the inner cities, then you're going to have a lot of that kind of housing along with that kind of traffic on a regular basis. So if I'm asked, I would say, if the two of them can make it work, that's fine. But if I'm being asked to make a choice, I'm looking at the Corporate Drive one.
Yeah, and they, in their presentations, they did say that one would probably have more of an appeal to seniors and other. So and I guess there's been talk that there is a need for affordable housing for that population in town.
Yes, because we hear it on a regular basis. It was a big deal 10 years ago when we did the Grandview condos, and it's for seniors to be able to stay in town. There's not a lot of extra housing for folks who want to sell their homes, who can't stay in their homes because of the upkeep it takes to stay in a home like that. So that would be an appropriate low-income location.
Right. And all right, another thing that kind of comes up quite a bit is just the talk about the direction of Burlington's development. We're getting a lot of restaurants, a lot of liquor licenses, places like that. Do you think that looking forward, the town should kind of continually try to increase the amount of liquor licenses it has and to kind of not push the restaurant side of things, but sort of allow it to do its natural course? Or do we need to, at some point, sort of say, we need something else?
There's couple of parts of that.
You can parse that.
I don't think we necessarily have pushed for the restaurants. I think just the location itself, with the 40 or 50,000 additional people that are working in town every day, the lunchtime restaurants at lunchtime are always crowded, always busy. The town is benefiting dramatically from the liquor tax the additional money that we put on it, $1.5 million that we get every year. But that doesn't mean we should be out trying to sell liquor licenses to get more people in here. The restaurants are doing well. There are still restaurants looking for opportunities. The town doesn't have any liquor licenses, but there are a couple that have been allocated still for Northwest Park, and different places that haven't been used that we have no control of anymore, in the sense that they've been allocated to those locations and need to stay in those locations. So The other part of that is the type of restaurants. One of the things we don't have are a lot of the small, intimate, mom and pop kind of restaurants.
Yeah.
We've gone to a number of them, Nancy and I, in Medford, Malden, Everett. You know, maybe 20 tables at tops, and you know, you can see them cooking the food, and it's, you know, the elderly couple who've been doing it for 30 years, and the food is just fabulous. And you know, some cases it's bring your own wine and beer. So
Right. And also, it's for the customer, it's a little bit of a more affordable option sometimes.
sometimes it is, yep.
Because
Yep.
some of the ones that we have now are, you gotta
High end.
save a little bit
Yep.
in order to go to them.
But it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't stop a lot of people because they're full all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Something that came up recently is this discussion over offering health insurance to elected officials. Even though it doesn't have the say, town meeting did the non-binding resolution suggesting that the practice end. Chairman of the board, Mike Runyon, tried to bring it up a couple weeks ago. It didn't get anywhere. There was not even a second. Do you think that was the right way to go? That it seemed like some people seem to think that there at least should have been a discussion about it.
Well, the chairman, and I can't speak for who he talked to on the board, but he never informed me that that was the direction he was going in. I was prepared that night, you know, to have a conversation. I'm not supporting it, but I was expecting to have a conversation, and then he went through what his research told him he wanted to do that night. I chose not to second it because
You didn't agree.
I didn't agree with it. You know, I'm a former local 25 Teamster. Nancy and I come from families of union firefighters, Teamster truck drivers. You don't give up benefits. You don't go backwards. It's just a mentality. So I wouldn't have supported it anyway. But I wasn't aware that it was going to be a decision, period,
Gotcha.
to not have the conversation. I don't know if he had a conversation with the others, but he didn't have that with me.
Gotcha. And you know, it seems, I know when it was discussed back in last summer, there was the thought that taking away a perk or a benefit would even lower the amount of people looking to participate. And already we have so many races that just go uncontested. You think that's part of it, or is it just it's something the town does? It costs 0.1% of the budget or whatever.
Yeah, it's been, they've had this benefit for 50 or 60 years now, and it's less than, it's 1/100th or 1/1000th of 1%. And if you put the number on the table, it's a lot of money. But if you look at it in retrospect to everything that we've done, and it's only one vote that the selectmen take or don't take, compared to a lot of other things, balancing the budget and deciding where we spend money and how we get it. So, but for me, it's personal. You don't take benefits away because, whether you're a Teamster truck driver for one of the major companies, they can make the argument that that's money they can save too if they didn't have to give insurance to somebody for some reason. So you don't take benefits away because then what's the next thing they're going to take away?
Right. All right, very good. Well, we're almost about time to wrap up, and went quickly. So, what I want to give you an opportunity just to sort of, look at your camera and kind of make your pitch about why people should come out on election day and support you.
Well, it's election day. You should get out. Period. We had a nice turnout for the presidential primary in March. I would hope that the citizens would think that the people who are serving the closest to you in providing your services. And again, as a member of the Board of Selectmen, we take a strong look at what the services are and work with the school committee as far as some of those issues as far as, do we charge for busing? Do we charge for sports? Do we charge for trash collection? And we've been able to say no to all of those, paying for those services and having those fees. So we spend all year doing this, and we're already starting to work on next year on how we do that. So I've spent 6 years on there now. Actually, I'm the senior man. So I would hope that the residents would give me another 3 years. Again, I'm committed to this community through Rotary, through People Helping People. I also continue on the Disability Access Commission, for which I was a coordinator for many years, and now I'm an active voting member. So I'd appreciate your vote. Hopefully, many of you will feel I've earned it.
Great, thank you very much. And just a reminder to everybody that the election is on Saturday, April 9th, here at the high school gymnasium. Polls are open from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. I've been joined today by Selectman Bob Hogan, B News Director Rich Hosford, and thank you for watching.